Never go to the past, not for happiness, not for justification. The world is what it is. You are what you are. Success is not final. Failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts. Do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Of all the liars in the world, sometimes the worst are our own fears. Focus on what you can control and let go of what you cannot. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Nothing costs so much in life as illness and ignoring an illness. The truth is, everyone is going to hurt you. You just gotta find the ones worth suffering for. Embrace stress as the opposite of apathy. Good judgment comes from experience, and experience comes from bad judgment. The best thing I ever did was stop telling people what's going on in my life. Life is far from over, but it's very short too. If you want to do something, don't delay, but don't sacrifice what you want for what you want right now. This is your world. Shape it, or someone else will. Anything you dream is fiction, and anything you accomplish is science. The whole history of mankind is nothing but science fiction. Life will only come around once, so do whatever makes you happy. The things you think about determine the quality of your mind. Most of the time, you have to swallow the pain and learn to grow up by yourself. It's not what happens to us in life that shapes us, but how we choose to respond to it. If it keeps you happy, keep it quiet. The more we learn from life, the more wisdom we gain and the better equipped we are to handle its challenges. Be careful who you marry and even more careful who you have kids with. It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters. Be proud of how hard you are trying. Practice self-compassion. We are all human, and everyone makes mistakes. One can always be kind to people about whom one cares nothing. Do your best and trust the process. Experience is a hard teacher because she gives the test first, the lesson afterwards. Life lessons are often learned the hard way, but they shape us into the person we are meant to be. When you are angry, stay silent. We make a living by what we get. We make a life by what we give. Difficulty shows what men are. The harder you work, the luckier you will get. I would rather be a swineherd understood by the swine than a poet misunderstood by men. But one of the big lessons I have learned from my journey is you can't please everyone, so don't try. The greatest life lessons are often learned through adversity, but it's up to us to find the strength to persevere. Life lessons are like a roadmap, guiding us to the destination of our dreams. Life is like a book. Some chapters are sad, some are happy, but all are necessary for the full story. Don't let what you can't do stop you from doing what you can do. Often, the lies that are believed become the truth. One today is worth 2 tomorrows. I made a resolve then that I was going to amount to something if I could, and no hours, nor amount of labor, nor amount of money would deter me from giving the best that there was in me. And I have done that ever since, and I win by it. I know. Be loyal or stay single. That's simple. Life is a teacher, but the greatest lessons come from our own experiences, not just what others tell us. If nobody helps you, do it alone. You don't have to win every argument. Agree to disagree. There are 2 paths you can go by, but in the long run, there's still time to change the road you're on. Life is not a problem to be solved, but a reality to be experienced. At some point, you will realize no one else has a say in your life unless you let them. Never take the responsibility that does not belong to you. Life is inherently risky. There is only one big risk you should avoid at all costs, and that is the risk of doing nothing. Mistakes are a part of being human. Appreciate your mistakes for what they are, precious life lessons that can only be learned the hard way. Have firm boundaries and be discerning about who you let into your life. Life is a journey, and every step teaches us something new. You're being judged, no matter what, so be who you want to be. Take good care of your health. Without health, nothing will matter. No amount of money can bring you joy if you are suffering. Children learn by an adult's example, not by their words. What Paul says about Peter tells us more about Paul than about Peter. Get yourself together before you get any older. The older you are, the harder it is to change. If you want to live a happy life, tie it to a goal, not to people or things. Whenever you want to achieve something, keep your eyes open, concentrate, and make sure you know exactly what it is you want. No one can hit their target with their eyes closed. Do not spoil what you have by desiring what you have not. Remember that what you now have was once among the things you only hoped for. It's not about avoiding failures. It's about learning from them and moving forward. Your time is limited, so don't waste it living someone else's life. We have two lives, and the second begins when we realize we only have one. If a man knows not to which port he sails, no wind is favorable. Your heart will tell you where to go. Your head will guide you there safely. Use one without the other, and you'll get lost. The most important life lessons are not what we are taught, but what we discover for ourselves. If you don't value your time, neither will others. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. Life is a never-ending journey of growth and learning, and the lessons we learn are what shape us into the person we are meant to be. You can't go back and change the beginning, but you can start where you are and change the ending. Learn how to change a flat tire on your vehicle. The best way to prepare for the future is to learn from the past. Buy real estate, land, anything you can afford. Those who are hardest to love need it the most. Experience is the best teacher, but sometimes the lessons are painful. A bad phase of your life can start at any time. The noblest work of God, man who found it out, man. Never give up on something you really want. It's difficult to wait, but it's more difficult to regret. Life is not just about what we achieve, it's also about what we learn along the way. No matter how old you are, life will always have something to teach you. You get in life what you have the courage to ask for. In order to understand the world, one has to turn away from it on occasion. Don't put off important medical checkups. Don't let anyone ever make you feel like you don't deserve what you want. A leader is a dealer in hope. At your lowest, you realize a lot. The greatest risk is not taking one. If you don't ask, you don't get. When you work for someone else, you have the right only to labor, not to the fruits of your labor. A great attitude becomes a great day, which becomes a great month, which becomes a great year, which becomes a great life. Life's lessons are meant to be shared, not hoarded. Slow down and realize that mistakes are essential to learning anything. Every person we meet in life has something to teach us. It's up to us to be open to their lessons. The only way to grow is to learn from our mistakes and never give up. The more you are interested in others, the more interesting they find you to be interesting. Be interested. After a while, you learn to ignore the names people call you and just trust who you are. Start saving you money. Don't spend it on homes you can't afford, fancy cars, and running your credit cards to the max. In the end, you'll be much happier. Give without expecting anything in return. Don't read a quote and say, "This is wise," but read a quote and say, "How can I relate this to my life?" If it ain't broke, don't fix it. He who is not courageous enough to take risks will accomplish nothing in life. No one cares except family. He who is to be a good ruler must have first been ruled. Things turn out best for those who make the best of the way things turn out. Time heals almost everything. Give it time. Life isn't fair, but it's still good. The greatest life lesson of all is to never stop learning, for knowledge is the key to unlocking our full potential. You can't wait for inspiration. You have to go after it with a club. You will be pulled down out of jealousy. Don't get surprised. It's normal. The world is a tragedy to those who feel, but a comedy to those who think. Be selfish with your time. A lot of people don't deserve it. It is not a lack of time. It is a lack of priority. What one man calls God, another calls the laws of physics. The best way to learn from life is to embrace every experience, both good and bad. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. If you can't explain it to a 6-year-old, you don't understand it yourself. Always move in your own direction, not according to society, friends, or family. No one is too busy. It's only a matter of priorities. In 3 words, I can sum up everything I've learned about life. It goes on. Don't leave someone to teach them a lesson. Leave because you learned yours. And in the end, it's not the years in your life that count. It's the life in your years. Fear doesn't exist anywhere except in the mind. When in doubt, just take the next small step. There are only 3 events in a man's life: birth, life, and death. He is not conscious of being born. He dies in pain, and he forgets to live. To know your enemy, you must become your enemy. You are confined only by the walls you build yourself. The lessons of life are not just for our personal growth, but also for the growth of society as a whole. Live every day as your last, because one of these days it will be. The struggles we face in life are opportunities to learn and grow, not roadblocks to our success. Wealth is like seawater. The more we drink, the thirstier we become, and the same is true of fame. Never overlook contempt. When someone views you with contempt and talks to you like you're beneath them, they will likely do you harm, whether relationally, socially, or physically. Remove that person from your life. True love begins when nothing is looked for in return. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. Happiness is not something you postpone for the future. It is something you design for the present. Stay strong. Even when things begin to fall apart, stay strong. Never force, don't beg, and don't chase. Life moves pretty fast. If you don't stop and look around, you could miss it. Manage your mood, because if it does not obey, then it commands. The only time you should ever look back is to see how far you've come. Your friends' problems become your problems. The smaller your circle, the less bullshit you have to deal with. We are who we choose to be. In every success story, you will find someone who has made a courageous decision. You'll never be sorry for telling someone you love them. Do it before it's too late. Life is a series of natural and spontaneous changes. Don't resist them. That only creates sorrow. Let reality be reality. Let things flow naturally forward in whatever way they like. Life is the greatest teacher, but it is up to us to learn its lessons. Shortcuts make long delays. A blind man is a poor guide until it gets dark. Better 50% now than 100%. Never trust wisely and not blindly. It's not your fault. Things are the way they are. To see the world, things dangerous to come to see behind walls, to draw closer, to find each other, and to feel. That is the purpose of life. No matter how thin you slice it, there will always be two sides. Close some doors today, not because of pride, incapacity, or arrogance, but simply because they lead you nowhere. You can't do big things if you are distracted by small things. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. A fool is known by his speech, and a wise man by silence. The lessons we learn in life are not just for our own growth, but for the benefit of those around us. Never take anything personally. What others say and do is a projection of their own reality. Most so-called failures are only temporary defeats. If you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. Hatred is a curse that does not affect the hated, it only poisons the hater. Release a grudge as if it was poison. Life's lessons are meant to be learned over and over again until they become part of who we are. The life of the dead is set in the memory of the living. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Through discipline comes freedom. Intuition is something that is ahead of accurate knowledge. Our thoughts make us what we are. What other people think of you is none of your business. Sometimes you win, sometimes you learn. You can't live your life for other people. You've got to do what's right for you, even if it hurts some people you love. Children make so much noise you can't think, but when they leave the house forever, the silence is maddening. Only those who can afford not to lie are free. You don't have to burn books to destroy a culture. Just get people to stop reading them. A clever person solves a problem. A wise person avoids it. Life is a school, and every day is a new opportunity to learn and grow. Waiting for change while not doing anything for it is like waiting for the train at a bus stop. Nonviolence is a weapon of the strong. When you were born, you cried and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. It's no use wasting time worrying what other people think about you. No one is thinking about you. The less possessions you own, the happier and less burden you will have in your life. Save a little money every week or month. Nothing gives you happiness like a financial buffer, believe it or not. The pain you feel today will be the strength you feel tomorrow. Don't look back. You are not going that way. To get married means to have your rights and double your responsibilities. Everything outside of this moment is just imagination. Here for a good time, not a long time. Life isn't about finding yourself. Life is about creating yourself. You can tell more about a person by what he says about others than you can by what others say about him. Never say maybe if you want to say no. Make and keep friends with the people you want to emulate, not the people that you think will be most likely to accept you. The people you associate with will shape your future. The more you don't have sex, the less you want it. The less you want it, the less you have it. Remember 5 years ago, you dreamed about being where you are now? Think about it. Your life does not get better by chance. It gets better by change. Keep your fears to yourself, but share your courage with others. True love never has a happy ending because there is no ending to true love. Throw off your worries when you throw off your clothes at night. You need to stop the habit of doubting yourself. Thinking is the hardest work there is, which is probably the reason why so few engage in it. Keep busy. It's the cheapest kind of medicine there is on this earth, and one of the best. Genius is 1% talent and 99% hard work. When you work for someone else, you have the right only to labor, not to the fruits of your labor.